Anyway, Razor, we've been having a great debate today, and I'm sure you knew there would be a question at some point about this. So we had the Canadians booing the U.S. national anthem in Montreal. I don't know what you thought about that as a great Canadian. As someone who played for the Bruins and has lived here for a long time, do you expect there will be return served tonight? Do you expect boos during the Canadian national anthem tonight? And how would you handle yourself as a fan?
Sure. So a couple things. So one, unlike Ken Laird, and Ken and I have talked about this, I am not a Rush fan. Okay. As Canadian as I am, I'm not a Rush guy. I have an American passport as well. I am an American. I'm an American citizen. So I am very qualified to stand on both sides of this now, as I love both countries very much and appreciate both. So if you guys remember, I know you're old enough to remember. I know Teddy was very busy at this time, but in 2004, we played the Montreal Canadiens in a 7-game series, and something came up political during that time as well. And in Montreal, they booed the American anthem for the 3 games that we played up there.
Yep.
And it's on YouTube, and I remembered it pretty clearly. When they came back to Boston, the Boston crowd actually cheered the entire time for the Canadian national anthem. I would absolutely love to see that tonight. I think that's like the perfect reciprocal tariff, because the end of the day, USA is kind of big brother, and to hear them cheer the entire time, I think would be more interesting than the boos, but I do expect boos at the end of the day tonight.
So, Razor, obviously nobody expected and/or everyone was surprised by the immediately contentious and violent nature of the start of the game last Saturday, which is obviously what raised ratings and eyebrows and attention and has led to this emotional finale tonight at the Garden. The Tkachuk brothers, famous for doing things like that, took their game to 11 and cranked it up another notch. Do you expect Canada tonight to try to fight fire with fire and come back with physicality, or or you think they'll stay in their finesse lane?
No, it'll be physical, but it's not going to start the same way. I was down at the rink this morning talking to everybody, and both coaches thought the same thing. I think that was a bit of a tone setter. It just happened. I know the group chat was out there, but it's still somewhat organic. Tonight, I don't think, when it's the championship on the line at this point, the tone has already been set. Tonight will be very closely battled. There'll be a ton of hits, but I think the only chance we see a fight is if there is a huge hit late and 2 guys grab each other. I don't envision right off the draw. I think it's a little bit risky if they go at it off the draw and one of the other guys doesn't partake and you end up being on the power play or on the penalty kill, 2 minutes into the game.
I can't wait. It's going to be fascinating. But I gotta ask you. It just feels. I don't know how to make sense of maybe what happened with Charlie McAvoy. Who's to blame? That kind of thing. I feel like it's sports things happens. But Andrew, how do you kind of process what happened with Charlie McAvoy in your mind? What who's to blame and or just how do you see this whole situation kind of how it happened and what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's wild, right? And I think the best answer is, and you just said it, crazy things happen in sports, and that's why we watch it and follow it, and that includes injuries. This one's wild, and it's pretty obvious from the statement and pretty obvious from digging into it a little bit that something got messed up. But when it's also medical and there's a lot of guys kind of looking the other way, and there's a few whispers, but no one except a few people really know, and those are the doctors and Charlie. But either way, it's a really bad break for the Boston Bruins, and after this game tonight, we're gonna get back to them on Saturday, and I think a lot of talk will be focused on the fact that they don't have Charlie in the lineup for the next little while, and it's because of this, and it's because what seems to be somewhat of a mistake somewhere.
Nesson's Andrew Raycroft joining us here on WEEI Afternoons. So moving forward with that, we're already putting a lot of focus on the post-break performance and then the trade deadline and paths and buyers and sellers, you now lose potentially your best defenseman for, I guess, an extended period, weeks to week. Who knows? Doesn't that have the chance to sort of pull the plug on the second half of the season?
It does. Yeah, it does. They being the Bruins have a lot more information and have a much easier way of deciding those kinds of things. But and Hampus Lindholm hasn't skated a full skate or at least like the same schedule here out of the break either, which is a little surprising. So without those two guys, and if you don't have them for the entire 25 games or 20 of the games that are left in the season, it seems pretty difficult to continue to contend. Now, it's happened before, and it's possible, and of course the guys that are at the rink right now are expecting to do so, but it definitely has the chance to be problematic, and it definitely has a chance to change decision-making over the next 7 days, which are the 7 games before the deadline.
So, Razor, the Four Nations tournament has been a huge hit. I mean, basically, we all just learned about it 2 weeks ago in talking to you on a Thursday. I was completely ignorant to the format and how things were going to work out. Now here I am 2 weeks later making plans with friends to get together to watch the finale at a bar, which I never do. And I think tens of thousands of people regionally are all fired up for this tournament. And they hope that not only does it carry through in hockey, maybe that it becomes an 8-nation or 12-nation, and it affects other all-star game formats in other sports. But do you think, because some people have gotten hurt and there's been the McAvoy ding up and now, problem and infection, what have you, do you think the NHL will go forward with this? Will they make plans to do it bigger and better, or do you think they'll pull back because people got hurt?
No, you're gonna continue to push forward on this, and this was a plan. And again, they did have I mean, we had this in '96 and in 2004 and in 2016 and around and through the Olympics. So next year they're going to the Olympics. So right there, you've got this exact thing happening all over again over in Italy. And then the plan is 2028 to do this again. So kind of it can't be an every year thing, but it can certainly be 2 years Olympics, 2 years World Cup, 2 years Olympics kind of pattern where you're seeing best on best international hockey every couple of years is what the players want. And certainly now that we've gotten a taste of it again, after not having it for 8 years, we're seeing how awesome it is and how great best on best hockey is. And yeah, next time we need to have Czechia in, we need to have Slovakia, we need to have the Russians in, and then that elevates this tournament to a whole nother level as well.
Yeah, and Razor, I think it was David Pastrnak was quoted as saying before this tournament, he's like, "Oh, my country's not in it. I'm not going to really watch." And that's, I'd be curious if David's watching tonight. I don't know. It just feels like it's kind of has that feel. But I mean, what is the essence of what's made this kind of event so special in your eyes? I mean, every player, every coach, everyone who covers this, what at the end of the day is a meaningless kind of exhibition, type tournament. What is at the core of the excitement about this tournament? Is it truly just you're getting the best American team going up against the best Canadian team, which very rarely happens? Is that really what is the essence of what's captivated everybody about this tournament?
I think so. I think there's a lot at play. And again, because don't forget, it's USA and Canada, but Team Sweden played pretty hard, even though they were out of it on Monday and beat Team USA. And yeah. Team Finland, it's honestly, guys, it's the sport, and it's played with passion. It is played with a ton of speed, and again, when you have best on best, it's just so much faster. It's so much more intense, and again, it's just so competitive. So you take the best on best, and then you put their national team jerseys on their backs. Yeah. It's just so meaningful. And, I was saying it to the guy I was talking this morning, the Stanley Cup's one thing, right? You have a group of guys like football season, like the Super Bowl, where you're going through that entire year together. It's survival of the fittest, the playoffs, a grind. Not everybody's you have leaders, you have role players. In this situation, this this is essentially, unless you're Sidney Crosby or Connor McDavid, it's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Not many guys have played for their nation best on best in hockey because it's so fleeting. It's only every couple of years, and the careers are so short. Young guys are coming in. So these guys are auditioning as well on top of everything else to play in the Olympics next year. Like, if they want to play in the Olympics, they've got to be amazing at this tournament. And that's why guys are so bought in, because there's just so little opportunity to do this. And when you look back and people look back on careers, this is a huge part of legacy. Patrice Bergeron is a god in Canada, not just in Boston, because what he has done for Team Canada in the Olympics and in World Cups and World Juniors. Like, this is a huge part and piece of Hall of Fame careers in our sport, and that's why it's so important.
Reminder, Razor will be doing the analyst job tonight here on 93.7 WEEI USA Canada.
With his broadcast partner?
I was going to skip his name because I screwed it up the first time, so I wasn't going to say it. Razor, you can say it. Who's your play-by-play partner tonight?
Steve Cooley. So it's really
Coolio.
Yeah, Cooley. My buddy Cooley.
Coolio.
Gangster's Paradise tonight here at 93.7.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you, in all seriousness, we talked to Sean McDonough earlier in the week, and we were talking about his trademark voice crack, and we were kind of hoping for it, maybe an overtime game winner goal, something massive that causes the voice crack. What's your thoughts of taking part in this broadcast tonight when you know this is one of the biggest hockey games that's been broadcast in a long, long time?
I know. I'm obviously really excited. This has turned into a pretty awesome week for me. I signed on to this 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, thinking it's wonderful to get reps, and this is what I want to do, and this is great for me, and I'm in and around the building, and now all of a sudden it could be the biggest hockey game since 1980.
Yep.
So I'm pumped. It was awesome to be a part of it this morning. I saw Sean McDonough this morning, so I talked to him for a little while and got some advice from him. But I've done a bunch of college games, and again, just to be a part of this and do this, I know all the guys' names pretty well, and I've seen a bunch of hockey games, so you just go out and let her rip, and Cooley calls a great game too. So
that's awesome. Have fun, Andrew. That's really cool for you, man.
So I don't know if you're allowed to do this now. We always end each of these calls with a prediction. Are you allowed to predict what's going to happen tonight at the Garden?
Yeah, I can try. I mean, I don't mind doing it. Okay. I don't think we'll get in trouble doing it. By the way, I don't know if you guys remember what I said last time, but I absolutely nailed it. So I'm like kind of keeping track of myself.
Absolutely, me too.
Boy, pump those tires, Razor.
So what do you got tonight?
2 weeks ago I sucked, but last week 4 Nations, Team USA, I nailed that one. I have a hard time imagining one of these teams losing twice. Like, if this was a 7-game series, it's going to Game 7.
No, let him talk.
Back and forth. That's where I'm stumbling upon. So, again, as unbiased and impartial and trying to give good analysis, I think this is 4-2 Canada.
Oh, he's such a homer. He's such a homer.
4-2.
4-2. Hellebuck is going to give up twice as many goals as he has all.
He's going to give up 3. He's going to give up 3. Canada will get an empty net.
Empty netter.
Listen. I wish we could just go to overtime the entire time. Neither team deserves to lose it. Like, hockey has won, the NHL, the PA, everybody's won. So you put me on the spot, and I gave it to you because I know that's what radio wants.
We appreciate that, Razor.
Well, you know what's crazy, real quick, Razor?
We all win, either way.
The overtime rules are the same as Stanley Cup overtime rules, right? Is that right?
Yeah, they play till the winner, right?
That's amazing to me.
We go to 5-on-5. Yeah,
go
exactly.
To 5-on-5, 20 minutes. Wow.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we get a little extra hockey tonight. Razor, good luck in the broadcast, and no offense, but I hope your prediction is wrong because I'm rooting for you.
Yep, fair enough. I understand that, and I'm looking forward to doing this, and I'm glad we're all talking about hockey as much as we are.
That's
great,
the win
man.
right there, baby.